Let me take you back in time, to a time that was simpler, to a time where all we had was PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the Wii. And let's talk about this franchise that has all but been forgotten. What is up, you guys? Welcome to The Collective. My name is Furman, and in this video we are going to be talking about inFAMOUS. What happened to this game? I mean, was it something that really just got left behind in that generation? Was it something that was pretty much unforgettable? Is that the reason why we never got anything else? But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. Alright, let's get into it. inFAMOUS was one of my favorite games back then. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I loved the first one, I loved the second one, and I even kind of liked the third one too. Even though it wasn't as good as the other two, but I liked it. I appreciated what it was trying to do. But for whatever reason, Sucker Punch has kind of just decided to forget completely about it. I mean, they were just like, hey, we're making Ninja Samurai games now, so like, let's just not ever talk about these other awesome games that we came out with. And I really don't understand that. Now let's talk about the plot. One of the things that was beautiful and fascinating about games back then, in the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, is that they were pretty simple. They weren't exactly anything that were super complicated, but the game was a lot of fun and the story was truly intriguing. Now, inFAMOUS is set in Empire City, a fictional metropolis based on New York City, consisting of the Neon District, where most of Empire City's businesses are concentrated, the Warren, a slum dependent on international shipping activity, and the Historic District, the location of the city government. Now, the basic story of inFAMOUS remains unchanged whether the player opts for the good or evil karma path, which is another thing that's really awesome about these games. There's two choices, you can take the good path or the evil path. But some story elements do change depending on Cole's choices. And obviously the main character is Cole McGrath, which is, it's just the perfect name for a guy from the South, and he's just a really cool dude, that just happens to get powers. While making a delivery in the Historic District, Cole is instructed to open a package. In doing so, he activates a device known as the Ray Sphere, leveling 6 city blocks, nearly killing him and granting him electrokinetic powers. Rescued by Zeke and Trish, he teaches himself to control his emerging powers after using them in public to fight off a Reaper attack. The locals turn against Cole after he is accused of triggering the explosion, forcing him into hiding. Now that is the basic premise of this game, okay? You're just a simple guy who is instructed to open a package, which, that is a whole... I don't want to ruin the game if you guys haven't played it, but, there's a reason why he opens this package. There's a reason why he's instructed to open it, and it's crazy. He opens the package, then he activates the Ray Sphere, which basically, levels 6 blocks, which is insane. And now you have electric powers. Electricity. I mean, super cool. Simple premise, awesome gameplay. And the way that Cole controls, it's kind of like third person point of view, but it's also action based. You do get basic attacks, but you also get these really cool electric power abilities and moves and stuff like that. And there's so much to the game. There's so much to it. I mean, obviously you have a lovable cast. Everybody loves Zeke. I mean, he's one of the coolest guys. He's your chubby sidekick, and he's the guy that keeps you grounded. Whenever you want to fall off the ledge, whenever you're choosing the bad side or something seems a little fishy, he is there to ground you.
No. You've always got my back. Thank you.
Look, I don't call you brother because I like the way it sounds.
Now, the first one was actually a lot harder than the second one because of the fact that, it was their first trial run. They were just kind of trying things out. So when the second one came out, it was a lot more buttoned down and it was a lot easier to do everything. Now, in the game, you get these powers from these crystal shards that you collect, and you have a sonar beacon thing that shows them on the map. In the first one, they had way too many. Like I think it was like 450 something of them. Like there was just way too many, and it was near impossible to collect, so I never even bothered to get all of them. I just got as many as I could. But in the second one, they make them a lot easier to find, so it's actually doable. And I actually got a platinum trophy on the second one. I did both sides, good and evil, and you know, I did everything there is to do when it comes to this game. The first one was a little bit rough, but the story is amazing, and the fact that you get black lightning when you go full evil is unbelievable. I mean, that is still one of the coolest things to this day, and I still can't believe that they didn't add that to the second one. You know, when it comes to the second one, when you get your full evil karmic powers, you don't get like that black lightning with a hint of red in it. It's just like a really dark red, I believe. So really unfortunate, but you know, it's cool. You know, it's a stylistic choice, and the first one's had it better. But you know, the second game is a lot better, so it kind of makes up for it. You know, it's a little yin and yang. Now to the second game. Let's talk about the story. A month following the events of inFAMOUS, Cole and his friend Zeke meet with NSA agent Lucy Kuo, or Kuo for short, who informs them that Dr. Sebastian Wolf, the man responsible for creating the ray sphere that gave Cole his powers, has developed an even stronger version that would give him enough strength to stop the beast. Before they can depart for Wolf's lab in New Marais, which is basically the South, you know, it's New Orleans, the beast attacks Empire City. Cole tries to fight him off, but even his most powerful attack proves useless, resulting in the beast draining Cole of most of his powers. The group is subsequently forced to flee as Empire City is completely and utterly destroyed. Now that's how the second game starts. You know, it starts with a bang, you're fighting the beast, he annihilates you, then you run away like a coward because you know you got no powers now. So you run away, and the whole second game is basically a reset, so you're re-obtaining all of your powers again, and you're trying to figure out how to stop the beast. And mind you, there is a big giant plot twist in all of this, so you have to play both games. I'm not going to ruin any of it. I'm not even going to talk too much about it because I actually want you guys to go back there. If you happen to have a PS3, or I don't know, maybe it might be on Steam or something like that, or you know, it's another way of getting it that involves it being free. Although I haven't been able to get those to run on my on my Steam Deck. But you know, if you're able to figure it out, you know, definitely play the game. New Marais, or the South, basically New Orleans, is absolutely gorgeous, and you know, the whole city is like super destructible, so like you can use your lightning and blow stuff up, and you know, the same thing is back. You got the karmic powers, you have good side and evil side. There's a lot of plot twists. Ooh, there, we're going fast. There is a bunch of plot twists. There is a ton of stuff that happens in the game story-wise that I don't want to ruin. But, you know, the game is absolutely gorgeous, and somehow it still looks pretty good. Like, to this day, I have my PS3 hooked up to my TV downstairs, and every now and then I'll boot it up to see what it is. And, you know, it is still rough. It is a bit rough around the edges. The controller feels super stiff. I mean, compared to like the games that we get nowadays, you know, obviously this makes sense, but it's still an excellent play. And like I said earlier in the video, this is one of the games that I platinumed. And you know what's even funnier is I actually ended up getting inFAMOUS. It was one of the free games that we got when, you guys remember way back when, I think it was in 2010 or 2011, when, you know, the PSN got hacked. Me and my wife were just freshly married. Like, we had just been married for like a few years. We had gotten our first apartment, and you know, I traded all my Pokemon games for a PS3, which was really unfortunate, but I'm really glad I got that PS3. So the whole time we couldn't access the online, and we had these games, and you know, I played the heck out of it. I mean, I have so many good memories. Like, me and my wife, just there's so many good memories about that time. It's pretty incredible, but you know, that was definitely one of them. You know, we had this weird couch that was like kind of a V, kind of like that, and so like I would sit like head to toe on one side, and she would sit, you know, the same way on the other one. I'm boring you with the details, but it was good times. Good times. After I had finished Infamous 2, I was fully convinced that this was one of the best games ever. This was one of the best game franchise ever created, and it would go on, kind of like God of War. It would just keep going, and we would keep getting new games, and then it would reinvent itself and try something truly different, and that's when we got Infamous Second Son, or so I thought. Let's talk about the story. Second Son takes place in 2013, 7 years after Infamous 2's Conduit protagonist, Cole McGrath, sacrifices himself to, spoilers, but cure humanity of a plague and destroy the beast. Cole uses the powerful ray field inhibitor weapon, which kills him and most of the other conduits. The US government, and this is the cool thing about it, is the hero path, I believe, takes this route. And there's an evil path which takes another route, and it's like you get the what if scenarios. Just a little side note. Now the US government establishes the DUP or dupe to hunt down and capture the world's remaining conduits, dubbing conduits the pejorative bioterrorist. The protagonist is Delson Rowe, a 24-year-old graffiti artist and a local delinquent of the Akamish Reservation. Delson has the unique conduit ability of power absorption, allowing him to absorb and copy the powers of any conduit he comes in contact with. And in my opinion, therein lies the biggest mistake that Infamous made. It was two things. It was the fact that Delson has the power to obtain anybody's power, so ultimately you can give him any power you want, and he could just keep swapping powers over and over again. It's really cool at first, but at the end of the day, it's really uninteresting and it's really unoriginal. So it kind of sucks. And on top of that, the game was just kind of mid. It was just kind of okay, which is a shame. Now, when you start the game off, the first power you get is smoke, which the smoke powers was really awesome. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cool. The attention to detail, how you could go through smoke vents and you could pop up at the roof of the buildings. Like, there's so many ways to traverse. But after you play the game, you start to get different powers, and you start to realize that your first power is kind of lame. It's just kind of not as useful as you thought it would be. And that's what I'm saying. Like, once you start getting multiple powers, the older powers become obsolete. And that's what ended up happening with smoke. You get the neon powers, which is really cool. It allows you to run really fast, and it looks really cool. I mean, it just looks awesome. You being able to absorb neon from neon signs. That's how you get your power. So really cool. But then you get like the digital power, and that allows you to fly. How are you supposed to beat that? And not just fly too. It allows you to get like little minions. Like, you can create little digital flying minions that fight for you. How is Smoke supposed to keep up with that? The only saving grace that this game had was the fact that it came out on the PS4, and still to this day, it still looks absolutely gorgeous. And I've gone back and played it a couple times, and it still looks amazing, and honestly, it looks even better than it did back then because of the PS5 and what it's able to do. But it's just kind of not really as interesting as, the other previous two games. We had characters that we loved. We had Cole, we had Quo, which, she was like a government agency person, and she was kind of, you didn't know if she was truly on your side or not. We had Zeke, which was your lovable friend. And, there's a lot of stuff that happens in there that I don't want to reveal if you haven't played the game. But there's a lot of craziness that happens in those games. And then, you kind of get Delson, which is kind of an okay character. He's just like a rebel. And he's got his brother, which is a police officer. And he's always trying to keep you on the straight and narrow. And, their character development was decent, but it just wasn't as interesting as the previous two games. And it really is unfortunate because I absolutely love it. I absolutely love Infamous. But now, honestly, I don't see them ever coming back with it. And why would they? I mean, look at what Sucker Punch is coming out with. They came out with Infamous Second Son in 2014, and since then they have been working and developing Ghost of Tsushima. okay? And now they have Ghost of Yotei coming out. Those games are critically renowned as best in class. I mean, everyone that I talk to absolutely loves these games. They are so beyond what Infamous did. They are just overshadowed, and it sucks because Infamous is a great franchise, but I mean, come on, like how do you compare that? How do you compare the two? That's like comparing, you know, the original Super Mario Bros, not the NES one, but you know, the arcade version. That's like comparing that to Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, it is just night and day. And you know, for that reason, I truly believe that that's the biggest reason why we probably won't see Infamous ever again. But you know, it makes me sad because this is a great franchise and it had great characters. I mean, can we at least get a remaster? That shouldn't be too hard to do, you know? Like we see that all the time. PS3 games get remastered, Xbox 360 games get remastered. You know, they just like put the 4K 120 hertz patch on it, put a little ray tracing on it, sprinkle some effects on it, and call it good. You know, maybe fix up the controllers a little bit. But other than that, you know, it should be good to go. Yeah, it is really unfortunate, but you know, this wouldn't be the first time. If it does ever happen again, this would not be the first time that somehow I've predicted something on the channel. I mean, that's what happened last year, okay? I was talking about Marvel vs. Capcom, and look at what happened. It came out, and we got a collection. Crazy. Alright guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always guys, do not forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome content just like this. And we will see you guys on the next video. Peace! And you know, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make another Sly Cooper? We all want that. Sly Cooper. In Unreal Engine 5. 4K, 1000 hertz. 20K actually. Yeah, let's get that.